checking another one of our videos here on YouTube. This is going to be hopefully a repair video on an old model Speedrite 5800. It's a 5.8 joule output, I guess. So the comparable unit today would be a Speedrite 6000. This is an older, previous generation model. They don't make them anymore, of course. This unit was, they used to make a unit called the 580. Same thing, just different sticker, maybe a few differences in the boards. On electronic component wise, but they're basically the same thing. I started making that model probably in the mid-late 80s, and they continued on to probably the early 2000s when they came out. Eventually they came out with the Speedrite 6000s. You know, so these are probably based on a 30-40-year-old design on the way that they're built. They're still low impedance. I mean, low impedance has been around for 50 years on certain brands, but here in the States since the 70s and 80s. On certain brands. So low impedance is not a new technology by any means. But so comparable units to Speedrite 6000 as a 2023 prices are about $400 or $500 charger, probably close to $500 now. And these back in their day were probably $350. You know, maybe probably about $350 plus or minus. So definitely pays to try to fix this thing if we can. The Speedrite themselves do not make any parts for these anymore. They've been long discontinued. They don't do any board work on them. They just part swap if they can't fix the board or whatever. They just or retrofit or whatever they just call it done and try to sell them a new one. And these old ones, they last a lot longer than their new ones do. I don't like the new ones at all. One, because they're kind of expensive for what they are. Parts are expensive for them. Parts are hard to get for them. And they're not near as reliable. So I would probably hesitate on buying a new Speedrite unit myself. Unless you just like to burn money. Throw money down the toilet. Yeah, they're good for a while, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years about what you get out of a new one. I've gotten people calling us before with a 2-year-old Speedrite. They're doing the same thing as a 7-year-old one that comes in for repair. So just not as good as they used to be by any means. Well, they had 2 units in for repair. One was a 980, which is a bigger unit than this one. Very similar layout, but different parts and such in it. And then they had this 5800. The 980. Oh, it came on, but had no output. And so we had to put a new transformer in it and fix up the output board a little bit, and that was good to go. And I didn't show it in that video, but we did test the capacitors. They were good. This one, on the note, says light comes on, doesn't click. So that's probably what this one does. So we'll plug it in here and see if it does exactly that. This has 2 lights on it. It's actually 3 lights. One down at the bottom of this board that flashes with every click. It has 2 lights down here, one over here, and one over here. One comes on solid, and one clicks with every pulse. Well, I can hear it clicking. Oh, I kind of see it click. It's real erratic. Okay, so we got issues somewhere, either in the board or these 2 big capacitors are shot. And how old is this unit? 1992, so it's 31 years old is when it was built. So it was built on August 6th of 1992. That's how they do their date form. So 6th of August of 1992 was when this unit was built. So it's 31 years old. Almost going to be 32 years old next year. So let's pop this. Actually, we'll leave the board in there because I think our issue is going to be capacitor related. That's my hope anyways. Let's unplug one of these jumper wires here, because I think these are 20 microfarad capacitors. Yep, they're 20, and so they're wired together in parallel, which adds them up together. So if we test them while they're wired together, it should be 40. But we're going to unplug this wire here, and we're going to unplug this wire here because I want to test them individually, but I also want to take them out of circuit. So we're going to unplug this wire there. So now they're out of circuit from the board, and they're not tied together, so we can read them individually. So Let's put a meter on capacitance. There's no polarity to them, so we're going to test across them, see what they read. Alright, that one reads nothing at all. And that one reads nothing at all. So I imagine our issue is capacitor related. And that probably, its thing might go up and running, go right back to working again. That's my hope anyways. Let's take all the wires off here. Come on. Yeah, these are factory ones because there's glue down in there. These are the old white beige ones they used from 30 years ago. They went to a blue ones later on. Well, that was the replacement ones. So these are probably the original ones that they used in them. So now we got to come with 2 new capacitors or 1 big one to take the place of these 2 smaller ones. So let me do a little digging here and I'll find out what we got. All right, here's a capacitor we're going to put in here. This is a 40 microfarad capacitor. And this one capacitor is going to take the place of both of these because these are 20. And this one's a 40. We'll test it. It's brand new, so it should be good. .3. Alright, so what we're going to do is these terminals over, each has 4 tabs on, there are 4 little leads on. We're only going to use 2. These 2 over here are one contact point inside. These 2 over here are tied together in 1 contact point. So we have to put one of these wires over here and the other wire over here. So we have to figure out, do we want to put the capacitor like that? It's going to hit the board. So I'll put it in sideways, but we got to make room because it's not going to sit down in there with these little tabs in the way. So we're going to break off these two little tabs here. That way it sits more flush. And we have some room in there for it to sit. So it's going to sit like right there. And we'll do a combination of stuff to keep it in place. We'll probably either do double-sided foam tape by 3M. Put some of that in there. Or we can epoxy it. I don't like epoxying things too much in place just because if we ever have to replace it, it's going to be a nightmare for me and the next person ever has to work on it. So do you want a double-sided foam of good quality is usually the way we go with things. Not every time. We will epoxy stuff in place sometimes too. So now what we got to do is we need to put some solder on this wire, tin the wire. Come on. And then we're going to go over here, probably put that like that. So we'll put a little bit of solder on this one. And then we'll solder here on this one. And I'm going to go ahead and prep this. We'll probably do a combination of, to keep it in place, we're going to do it piece here to keep it against this part of the case, and a piece on the bottom of it here to keep it down there. So basically like an L-shape thing of double-sided foam. Press it into place. The longer this sits on there, here and on the plastic down there, the more sticky and more adhesive, more it adheres, whatever the word is, more stuck against the plastic. So peel that off. Put 2 of them on this one just because there's a little bit of that plastic pegs still left on there, so take up the space where they might poke into the capacitor. I'll put 2 of them on there. Okay. Press that down like that. Okay. See which wire is longer. They're both going to reach, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. We're going to put a little solder on here. Add, or just hold them together. Over here, hold those two together, and then heat them up together at the same time. Let the solder flow. Hold that for a moment until it hardens up and cools off. Alright. Let's plug it in and see what it does. So it goes a click in and stays nice and steady. Nice steady click now. Light down there is flashing. Probably can't see the camera. There's a light down there flashing. One down here flashing. This one's constantly on. So now let's test the output of the unit, see what it's putting out. These units usually put out about 8,000 plus or minus. We'll do no load. We're going to watch this number right there, see how high up it goes. We're at 8.2 kV, 8.1 kV. Aren't we supposed to be? Let's do a 500 ohm load test first. Actually, we'll do 500 ohm first. See what it drops down to. Probably about 4,000 or 5,000. 5.4 kV at 3.5 joules output. Let's go to 200 ohm. 5.3 joule, 5.2 joule output at 4.2 kV. So those are joules output. So this is a 5.8. I've had joule output. So I imagine this is 100 ohms, probably going to really drag it down, probably below 5. So if we could find that sweet medium between 100 and 200 ohms, like 150 ohm, probably get close to that 5.8. So let's put it, let's move this down to the 5 kV range. Might have to adjust it to the 2.5, but let's see what happens. Let's see, 100 ohm. We're at 4.7 kV, 4.8. Let's see if moving this in the middle changes anything. Probably not. Nope. So this is the range we need to be on. Yeah, 2.8 kV, 4.8 output joules. So maxes out probably between 5 and 6. We're at 5.1 or 2 at 200 ohms. If we find 150 ohm, 175 ohm, whatever, somewhere in that range, between those two, we could probably get that to closer to that 5.5 to 5.8 joule. But this unit's working fine for being 31 years old. Works great. So this new capacitor, and this thing's ready to go back to work. So turn it off here. So we'll slap this thing back together. No, we will let it run. We'll hook a load onto it, let it run for a while. Make sure we're not missing anything, because this thing is clean on the inside. It's a really clean unit. Don't see anything burnt. Don't see nothing discolored on the thing. Except I don't know if the board's ever been replaced or not. It's hard to say. There's no date on it anywhere. Yeah. Don't think the transfer has been replaced. I think this is a factory transfer from 30-some years ago. Transfer, they do go bad on occasion on these things. Those transfer, they may last another 10 years, 10 months. Who knows? Don't see really any funny business with it. Don't see no cracks in it. I think we're good to go. So we'll slap this thing back together here. There we go, saved another one from going to the trash heap and into the landfill. Camera's not picking it up, but it's flashing every single time it clicks. Same was down there. This one's clicking, flashing too. Camera doesn't pick it up, but it flashes every time too. So just bad old 30-year-old capacitors. That's what caused our issue with the unit. Now it's ready to go again for hopefully another 30 years. Who knows? But anyways, thanks for checking out the video with us and watching us work on another old unit. Man, you don't like they used to for sure on these things. Talk to you later on. Have a good rest of your day.